All of our reopening trades have been on fire. I'm still up as much as 75% in some of the stocks that I bought back on November 9th. That was when Pfizer announced that their vaccine was more than 90% effective. We made $12 million worth of stock trades that day, mainly buying airlines, hotels, casinos, cruise lines, that sort of thing. But in the past month and a half, all of those stocks that I bought, they are down from their highs. It's personally cost me $480,000 since June 1st. Collectively, among the three of us, it's in the millions. And the reason? The Delta variant. In parts of the country that are unvaccinated, it's becoming a real problem. In California, the number of confirmed daily infections has nearly tripled. Yesterday, Los Angeles announced that masks are going to be required again for everyone indoors, whether you're vaccinated or not. The new surge in cases in the US and around the world has brought uncertainty to the economic recovery, and even with the S&P and NASDAQ indexes near all-time highs, some of our favorite reopening stocks are down 10%, 20%, even 30% since June 1st. The Delta variant has literally cost us millions of dollars, and today on Dumb Money, we're going to reveal our plan to make it all back. We are Dumb Money.
Three friends who turned $30,000 into $30 million using nothing more than Twitter and a zero commission trading account.
The suits that work on Wall Street, they call those people the smart money. That's not us.
Our goal is to help level the playing field for everyday investors.
We are Dumb Money.
Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. First things first, take a quick second, hit that like button. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. It helps the almighty YouTube algorithm know that we're on the air, helps tell people that we're on right now. So help us out with that. It's special Friday edition, all back from vacation. You heard the news. Travel is back to 2019 levels. I've witnessed that firsthand. The roaring 20s are here. I flew back through Love Field in Dallas Monday afternoon, and it was an absolute madhouse. Lines at the Starbucks were wrapped around the terminal. Lines at the bathroom were nearly as bad. So just as Delta Airlines is reporting a profit, the Delta variant is causing problems. Chris, Jordan, it is great to see your smiling faces again this morning. I can't wait to see how you guys are trading. Should we call it a new wave?
You have to.
Are we going to call it the Delta wave? What are we calling this?
It is. And I'm not happy, Dave. As you mentioned, I'm down millions. It has been a really rough couple weeks. This has been one of the toughest trading environments. We had all of our trades on under the assumption of a better than expected recovery this summer that would just continue to ramp into the fall and winter. And the Delta variant just spoiled it. It really spoiled it. It's something that we've been watching. Jordan, I've been texting you about this on and off for, a month now. But I just, for whatever reason, I made some bad judgment errors into not pull back as much as I should have on the recovery stocks. I have pulled back some. I pulled back quite a bit now over the last few days. But, I had some really high conviction trades. One on tap, Molson Coors. We talked about that a lot on the show. Another on Playa. Felt really good about these trades, and I just didn't quite know how to factor in the Delta variant and the degree that it would impact these trades, and it has impacted these trades in a really big way. And you see it so clearly now, more clearly than you did 2 weeks ago. But the data was there a couple weeks ago. I was watching it go up. Remember, Jordan, we were watching the UK numbers go up. They're still going up every day for the past 3 weeks, substantially. It looks like they could be soon at levels that are equal to the peak of COVID in the UK, which is just mind-numbing. I can't even believe it. I'm shocked at the degree this Delta variant is way larger than I anticipated it would be. And man, I paid the price.
Well, and you were in very heavily in Molson Coors and TAP. I was not, but I got into Playa, and I was just checking when you mentioned it because I hadn't checked. I'm only down 2.75% right now, so I'm not too upset about that. But I want to talk about some of these ones that I got into. Like these are all of my big rebounds, and I'm going to pull up a chart that shows the S&P 500 and then all the other ones, and just look at how all of these airlines and casinos and hotels just did so much better than the S&P average.
Yeah, we killed it the first few months. And by the way, Dave, I got out of a lot of those recovery stocks prior to the Delta variant, or right when the Delta variant was hitting. but I didn't get out of a few of my really big ones, and that's what. And when I say I'm down millions, I'm down millions of money that I've made, right? So it's not like I'm still up on almost all these trades. Maybe not. I don't know how much I'm up on Playa
I'm
or
still
down,
up
but
in most. The only one I'm down in right now is if we pull this forward to where the where everything started going down. I'm still up in Carnival in all of those. I'm down in which one? It was one of the casinos.
I
yeah,
think you said Las
I'm
Vegas
out.
Sands,
Las
Dave.
Vegas Sands. That's it. Yep.
I have I have gotten out of a lot of my recovery trades, like the airlines, all that stuff. I'm out of that, but I'm still really heavy in Molson Coors. I spoke about this on our Discord. And by the way, we only have shows a couple days a week, but I'm in Discord all the time. And I had a good conversation last night with some folks in the beverage channel of the dumbmoney.tv/Discord group, which is free and anybody can get in there and collaborate and ideas. Um, and what I told them, we were debating Molson Coors because they came out with some news. They actually reaffirmed guidance for the year and reinstated their dividend, and we're up after
Mm-hmm.
hours last night.
Yep.
But I believe the
Yeah.
dividend that they reinstated was smaller than it was previously. And I think a reinstatement of guidance is not necessarily a great thing because what we're looking for is an increase in guidance, not a reinstatement of guidance. And what happened to Molson Coors, and I want to talk about this because it's been one of my largest trades of the year, and the one we've talked about probably more than any other, is they canceled their Coors hard seltzer line. That came out about a week ago, and that was a big deal. So they canceled that. So that's a pretty big share of their hard seltzer, which is a really tiny part of the company. But that's still numbers that they need to make up now. So Topo Chico's on fire. We know that Topo Chico's killing it. Topo Chico hard seltzer, that is. But where before Topo Chico hard seltzer was on top of
Mm-hmm.
Coors hard seltzer and Vizzy hard seltzer, right? Now they have to pull the Topo Chico hard seltzer has to make up for the loss in Coors hard seltzer for the rest of the year. So where we would have had a scenario if Coors would have just been performing pretty well, since it's not performing well and they have to pull it off shelves, I think in the short term it's a net negative. Now they're still doing well enough as a company to make up for that with Topo Chico, which is great, but it's harder to say that they're going to increase guidance because of it, because now they have to make up for those lost numbers. And on top of that, the really big headwind that was a tailwind and now it's a headwind is the pandemic. The pandemic was a huge tailwind. We're reopening in Europe. They are still reopening in Europe. In fact, reopening day, I think, is Monday
The
in
UK
the
is still planning
UK,
to reopen. Exactly.
but it's not the same. And there is a dark cloud of what's going to happen. How bad is it going to get? Are they going to reverse that? And whether they actually, the government closes it down or not, people will just not go out as much because they're scared, right? This is a dark cloud. It's a perception thing and possibly a reality thing. We don't know how much of it is reality in terms of deaths, but it's certainly a negative perception thing
No,
that's
we know
going
we
to be
know a
a
lot
big
right now.
dent.
We know that's not true, Chris. We know a lot right now. So we know that if you have a vaccine, if it's the Johnson and Johnson, you're like 80%. It's got like an 80% efficacy against this new variant. But if you have Pfizer or Moderna, those are both above 90% with this new strain. And so you're seeing a really big difference in people that are vaccinated. That not, you know,
But
they might get the strain, but they don't get sick. They don't get hospitalized,
well,
right?
that's not true. They do
No,
get
it is true. It is
hospitalized. There are
true.
many
It is true.
reports of
So
people
like
that had been
99% of
double.
people who are hospitalized are unvaccinated. And so that's
And the,
Okay,
the
100% fact.
CDC, the head of the CDC on Friday said that it's becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated. So,
Yes,
and
well
we're seeing that
that's
in pockets of the country where
Right.
there are unvaccinated people. It's causing the numbers to go up in
And
those
so it's interesting. If you look
states.
at like major
California.
metros and some of these, like, you know, like I was looking at Arkansas because we're about to go to Arkansas for a little trip. And it was worrying me because Arkansas is actually accelerating quite a bit as far as case counts. But if you look at the county that I'm going to, which is, I forgot the name of the county, but it's like a major metro where, Fayetteville and all that stuff are, really no increase. And I think it's because you've got more educated people there that probably prefer to be vaccinated.
Yeah, well, listen, what I'm getting at, Jordan, is there's an unknown in terms of the degree that this is going to continue to accelerate. None of us knew how big it would get right now over the last 2-3 weeks, how fast it would grow. It's certainly growing faster than anyone was anticipating. LA to come out and do what they did by, mandating face masks, whether we agree with it or not, these are unexpected things. We do not know once the UK reopens next week fully, and we're having lots of big events, and we continue to see the numbers growing, what that will actually do to the case count and what that will do to people going out or not going out or changing their plans, maybe not being in big concert venues or sports venues as much as they might have been,
Well,
maybe
yeah,
not being in
explain this in a minute,
crowded
Chris. So
situations.
why is Live Nation up today? Like, at least the last time I looked, Live Nation up like well, they're down now, but they were up like a couple percent earlier today. What is going on? If it's that big of a deal, why are Live Nation shares still at
Well,
80
well,
dollars?
They,
listen,
they
I
may be
mean,
up
Jordan,
briefly, but
who,
their overall trend over the past month has been down. They
Well, it's
they
still, I
came
mean, they're
roaring
still
back. They were one
extremely
of our
elevated for
roaring
a company
20s
that can't,
rebound
that hasn't
trades,
done
and
any
now
business
they're
in, a
they're
year and a
yeah,
down.
half.
I mean, Live Nation over the past month has gotten just slaughtered, right, with all these other ones. So I don't know what they're doing,
Yeah,
and they're down a little bit right now. But yeah, they're down from, they hit 93 and now they're at 79. That's all in 4 weeks. So they're
yeah,
getting crushed along with everyone else.
yeah.
I'm just telling you, this is real. I want to talk about how I'm adjusting my portfolio, my trades.
And that's what it's all
I
about.
was
That we're trying to figure out what to do, because I think right now I'm going to take all of those things that I bought in November and maybe sell them all.
Well,
Ooh.
Dave, I was 80% to 90% levered, okay, on
Mm-hmm.
this. I was 80 to 90% levered. I've pulled my leverage down to like 45% now, 45 to 50%, and I've taken down a lot of the recovery portion of those trades, including the short-term leverage. So I did have options in some of these trades, and I'm removing the vast majority of short-dated options on anything that's recovery related. So I am maintaining pretty strong positions in my high conviction trades in terms of equity. I am selling them off a bit, just because I don't want to have that much margin risk in my portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And then anywhere where I have option risk, where I have options, that's recovery related, or even if it's not recovery related, I'm taking down that risk because there's an unknown in the market. I do not know how the market's going to react over the next few weeks. I think this is a dark cloud. It's an unknown. I don't like unknowns. So I'm just taking this as a chance to pull back my risk.
Yeah.
And, I think by the end of this, I'm still selling some stuff. I'll probably be 25% levered, on my portfolio.
You
I think
you're,
that's
you are
kind of a
always
comfort.
more levered than I was, but I did pull way back, and I just did the calculation. I'm only 2% on margin right now. And Jordan,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're still holding some cash on the side. How much of your portfolio is in cash? I think you're muted.
Um, you're muted, Jordan.
15% cash.
15%
Okay.
cash.
That's about
Yeah.
normal
So
for
that
Jordan.
just
And
shows the
listen,
risk profiles of the three of us.
so people are saying, guys, it's also inflation. Well, yes, there's the inflation concern has been around for a few months now. It's been dinging the market around. Where we really have an issue is when we have multiple stacked concerns on top of each other. So we have inflation, we have the D variant. What really concerns me about the D variant is if it gets to a point where it starts impacting Southeast Asia. We're starting to see some reports of that as a risk, and that potentially starts impacting supply chains, right? So if we see any sort of behavior that has a negative impact on supply chains at this time of the year, when we're already really in a bad situation when it comes to supply chain. I mean, this has been the worst we've ever seen when it comes to disruptions in supply chain, and also when it comes to workforce. If we have to now add in additional difficulties due to the D variant hitting some of the Asian countries, that's a huge concern for me. That would really impact the entire portfolio, not just the recovery stocks. So there's no other way I can look at this as a major potential risk, and I do not want to be overly levered. I especially do not want to be overly levered in recovery stocks. I still love Playa. I still love Molson Coors. At the same
And
time, I'm
Playa
just
is
not
one that I
willing to
got
be as
in
levered in
later.
them.
Playa is one that, for all the reasons that we've talked about in the past, I still like Playa. I'm talking about rethinking the airlines, Marriott, um, my Las Vegas Sands. I mean, long term, I like Las Vegas Sands. I just don't know that this is the window that I want to
Yeah.
continue to hold them.
Dave, these stocks were priced, quite honestly, we've talked about this. We were willing to go in on those trades, even as they seemed to be overvalued, because
Mhm.
we just made an assumption that the recovery was going to be stronger, quicker, and bigger than anyone would have anticipated. That was something I felt pretty good about, minus D variant. Okay. With
Mhm.
D variant coming into play, even if it's not that real of a thing when it comes to death rate, as long as people are vaccinated, but not everyone's vaccinated, guys. Okay,
Yeah,
there's still a
something like
lot of people out
50%.
there, uh, yeah, that are not vaccinated. Okay, so if you put D variant into the equation, there's absolutely no way that I can feel so good about the recovery stocks right now that I'm like, I don't care about valuation. I am just in because it is the dream setup. I've been saying it all year. This is the dream setup for recovery stocks.
Yeah.
They are going to not just recover, they're going to recover and outperform, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
by the way,
I
we're
think
not
the
financial
recovery stocks.
advisors. Well, Dave, we got to say
Do
we're
your
not
own
financial advisors.
research.
When
Yeah,
we
we're
say
not
stuff like
financial
this,
advisors. Just
but this is serious. This is the way I feel about my portfolio, the decisions I'm making for myself. I'm not talking to you like, hey, do this because I think this is going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen. So I'm making a decision for my portfolio. I don't know your risk, and I'm not a financial advisor. So please do your own homework and make your own decision. See a financial advisor on your own. Guys, this is a
but I
show
agree.
about collaborating and
Our
poking
whole
holes in theses.
in our thesis that we were going to come back bigger and faster than anyone expected, we were right up to a point. But we also had a goal in this country to have 70% vaccinated by 4th of July, right? And according to the recent data from the Mayo Clinic, 55.3% of the US population has received one vaccine, 48.3 are considered fully vaccinated. So that's a miss, right?
I mean, yeah, I always kind of thought that we'd be light on the vaccinations. By the way, my portfolio is getting killed in so many weird areas. Like someone brought Funko in the comments. Dude, I've sold a bunch of my Funko because Funko was supposed to come out with their NFT, right? Their NFT line, which I thought was a game changer for the
Well,
company.
they
I think it
bought
still
that
can be.
NFT company, right?
What?
Didn't they buy an NFT company?
No, that has nothing to do. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Yes, I mean they did
It has
buy
everything
they
to do
did
with the
buy
other. It gives them the
yes,
technology
they
to
did
be
buy
able
an
to
NFT
do all
company,
this stuff.
yes, to supply some of the tech, but they had this launch for their own NFTs, and they delayed that by months. That is
Right.
just bad. That's bad. They delayed it by months, not weeks, by months. So, okay, you delay it by months. That's a big deal for me. So I can't be over levered in Funko if they're months away. I'll readdress Funko at another time. I still have Funko. I'm still long Funko. I just I took down my position, quite a bit. But I'm so disappointed in them. Like, how do they delay it by months? Like, they're like, oh, we're coming out with our NFT line in June, mid to late June.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh no, we're delaying it by
They
months.
they tease announced it when NFTs were the hottest thing going, and then they kind of missed a window of it being, heavily searched for and everyone was talking about it. I feel like I haven't really heard that much about NFTs in the
Yeah,
past
do
month or
people
so.
buy NFTs anymore? Are they still a thing?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't.
they're still,
They're
listen,
not buying
the
Chris
whole,
has a
NFTs.
big portfolio of NFTs, but I should have
I
worn
don't
my
have a
Crypto
big,
Dave shirt.
I don't have a big portfolio of NFTs. I have a very tiny one of
Relative
NFTs.
to your net worth, you have a small NFT
Very small,
collection.
very small. But
Relative to
here's the
my
thing.
NFT collection, you have a giant NFT collection.
The crypto market has been slaughtered too, right? Now, I was in, I've been in crypto. I'm not huge in crypto. It's a pretty small part of my portfolio. I've actually lowered it somewhat. But that hasn't helped the NFTs because NFTs pretty much trade in line with ETH, right? So that hasn't been fun. So we've kind of been getting killed all over the place. Uh, I think it's really important in these situations to take a deep, hard look at reality and not to appease yourself based on past thinking. And that's something as investors is really easy to do. You have a strong thesis and you don't want to give it up. You just don't want to give it up. You start losing money and you're like, oh, I love this before. I love it even more now. Well, listen, if nothing has changed and my stocks are coming down, you know what I normally do. I normally go in heavier, right? Like I don't care. I
Yep.
don't care about price. I don't care about price. So I'm not talking about price right now. I'm talking about information. Information has changed on Funko. Information has changed, okay, on the Delta variant, okay, that's impacting a lot of these recovery stocks. Information continues to worsen on the inflation front, and that's still a risk factor out there. But honestly, for me, more than anything else, it's the Delta variant. That's what this show's about. It's the biggest change in information. I have to say right now, I don't have a really strong opinion on how this is all going to go the next 2 to 3 months. I'm not out there saying, hey, the Delta variant's going to fade away or the Delta variant's going to crush us. I just don't know. I have more questions than answers. And every day I wake up and I spend 2 to 3 hours studying, information and news flow and scientists, and I'm trying to see what different countries are doing. Are they pausing? Are people continuing to go out to bars? By the way, I have a family member right now that is in Germany, and this person was staying at a hostel in Germany, and the hostel upgraded him to a hotel that they were affiliated with because they didn't have enough people to fill the hostel. So they closed down the hostel in Germany, and now he got an upgrade to an awesome hotel. But like, that's not a positive sign, right? So I'm like just continuing to get all this information on different countries, different areas of the world. I'm watching Southeast Asia for supply chain. I'm watching US companies, and there's a lot of information that is conflictive because depending on where you are, like Dave, you were at Love Field and it was packed. I
Yeah.
have some friends in Hawaii right now. Hawaii has never, ever been this insane and crowded. But that's a really skewed vision of the world based on what people were thinking 60 days ago when they planned these trips, right?
Yeah.
Because Hawaii was booked out for the rest of the year 60 days ago. It's a safe place for people to have money to be able to vacation right now. I'm telling you, you have to be really careful because if you look at airports, if you look at certain things, you're looking into the past. You're not necessarily looking into the present and what's happening right this second. And what's happening right this second is unclear, is all I'm going to say. It's unclear. And I think it's really important as investors for us to admit when we don't have clarity on a situation. And I just don't have that clarity. And so what am I doing? I'm not making any big moves. I'm taking down my leverage right now. Okay. I am taking down some of my recovery positions because they were so ridiculously high. I mean, I was so levered in them. And I'm going to wait and I'm going to continue to trade social arb narratives, but I'm going to move those trades closer to the projected uh, uh, information dissemination event. So, in which many times might be earnings. So rather than hold the stock for weeks and weeks prior to when I think information will get disseminated, if we have really amazing narratives that people are discussing in our Discord channel, I might hold off until the very last minute to reduce my risk and just play that information dissemination event. Just play earnings. Maybe get in the day before earnings, right? Rather than getting in right now because the market is just so shady right now. I don't know what's going to happen between now and next month. And I don't want to be holding a lot of big positions not knowing what the market forces will do to those positions and the perception of the market will do to those positions. So that's my strategy. I'm not giving up on trading for now. I'm just going to push my trades off as far as I can. So there are half a dozen really good social arb thesis that are being discussed in our Discord right now, and I'm looking at all of them, but I'm not going to like dive deep into all of them right this very second. I'm going to wait it out, right, until
Yeah.
I absolutely have to make that investment at the last minute. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. You being a little conservative with your investing for the first time, I believe, in a decade. You're holding a
That's not
20%
true.
margin.
That's not true. I've done this a few times over the past year, but this is definitely one of those times, right? It just is. So, okay, Paw Patrol, Spin Master. Listen, Spin Master, we did a whole show on them. That's not a stock that I'm pulling back on, because I don't have that large of a position in it, right? But stocks that I have just crazy positions in, I'm having to take them down 10, 20, 30, 40%. That's what I'm having to do. Remember, I'm 80% leverage, guys. So I'm moving from 80% leverage to 20 to 25% leveraged, maybe 30%. And there's no way to do that without just selling down positions. That doesn't mean I'm like getting rid of the positions. I'm just not as levered as I was before. And it's unfortunate if these positions bounce back soon, because
Yeah.
I won't take advantage of that. But it's
What are
the
you going to do
price
with
you pay.
what are you going to do with your Build-A-Bear?
So I have sold off, as you know, I sold off half my Build-A-Bear, right? That was at like, what was that, 1780 or something like that. I sold off another half, I think, roughly of what I had. So I'm down to like 25% of my initial Build-A-Bear position that I was building since the 3s and 4s and 5s. Uh, so I've done quite well. It kind of hurts selling that because you take a massive tax hit, right?
It
Massive
went
tax
up
hit.
so fast, but it
It
has been
did.
leveling off and dipping. So it's
Yeah.
unless
Still
you
up.
see
I mean,
something
it's
big for Build-A-Bear on the horizon,
Yeah.
like that Build-A-Bear NFT or whatever they might do.
Charles and Covard. I finally sold some of my Charles and Covard. I still
Hmm.
have it, but I sold some of it. It took me forever. I literally had that thing for months. The funny thing is, it was kind of hard to sell the Charles and Covard, and I didn't sell much. I sold some of it because if you look at Mosinite on G Trends, Mosinite is still kind of killing it on G Trends right now, right? It's still
Mm-hmm.
really strong. So I like Charles and Covard. I just can't own an insane amount of it, right? So I had to sell off some of my Charles and Covard. Honestly, guys, I've kind of sold off a little bit of everything. I mean, it's very few things in my portfolio that I not touch, right? Very few things. Everything's getting sold off a little bit, and I'm really, guys, don't you're putting meme stocks in here like Wish. I want nothing to do with that stuff. I own zero Wish. I own zero of that. Like, I'm not I haven't traded meme stocks in a while. And by the way, those meme stocks have really gotten killed here in the last few weeks. Um, I don't have any AMC right now. I don't have any GameStop. I don't have any meme stocks at all. Times like this, I really want to buckle down and stick with my medium and high conviction social arb trades. That's
I
it.
will
The
say that I
stuff I
still
really have
do have
conviction
some AMC. I've just been playing with it in my Robinhood account, and I've still been doing okay because I'm writing options on the stock that I was assigned when some options expired in the money. So I basically am continuing to lower my basis price and
in.
doing all right.
I have not sold any of my Hayward. Danny H says Hayward. The pool equipment, guys. We did a whole show on Hayward pool equipment. I did not sell any Hayward. I feel like they're still pretty strong here, but it's not like I own that much Hayward anyway. I did not sell any of my Airbnb. I don't think. I could have sold some. I don't know. I don't think I sold any Airbnb. I did, but I want to say this: Tap is still my largest position by far. Okay, so Molson Coors is still my. I had to sell. I had sold a bunch of my options, and I sold some of my stocks. I had to bring down my leverage, but it's still my top position in my portfolio is Molson Coors. I sold half my Tesla today.
Really?
Sold half. Yeah, sold half my. It hurt. It hurt
Huh.
because it was a big
Because that's,
gain.
I'm sure, a huge gain.
I sold half my Avis, guys. I sold half my Avis. I might have sold
That's
all my Avis. I don't think so. I sold half. I have not sold any of my Generac though. Did not touch my great question. LEV. So this is a great question. For those of y'all that have been watching us for the past, 8, 9 months, you know that maybe the worst trade I've made at least,
yes.
the absolute worst, was in
Lightning
some of
emotors.
these no lithium stocks. LEV, I think. Oh,
Oh,
am I LA? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
LEV is
So yes,
lightning emoters, and that's huge. I'm down
LAC.
56% in that one.
Yeah, I have sold off part of my EV companies. I just shaved off some of my EV companies. I also sold some of my lithium stocks, like LAC, but I really love my lithium stocks. Like I haven't sold that much of it, but I did sell off some. Again, very few things did not get cut in my portfolio. When you're at 80 to 85% leverage and you're going down to 25% leverage, everything gets hit somewhat, right? So I would say the complexion of my portfolio is not too different than it was 2 weeks ago. Other than Dave, I really did get rid of the pure like recovery stuff, like
Yeah.
just the airlines and that's just the
I still
casinos. I think
haven't
I
I
sold
still
off my
haven't pulled the
LDS.
trigger on those, but I think this is the time to do it for me. That's I think
Yeah.
I'm going to actually just reverse all of the trades that I made November 9th.
Can I say
Really?
something else? Uh, I mean, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. Can I say something else? I think Dave will agree with me with this. Man, I haven't vacationed like this in a while, and I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed being on vacation. Dave being at the beach. Like
Yeah.
Dave stayed at a hotel across the street from our house where we were and got to hang out with us all week in Montauk and the Hamptons. And man, I just didn't want to think about trading or research. Man, I wasn't in Discord for a week.
Yeah.
I came home and I still don't want to think about trading. Honestly, doing this show today, just to be totally transparent, guys, this happens to me every once in a while. I'll spend 6 months doing nothing but research and trading. Right now, guys, I am just burnt out. It's summertime. I want to hang out with my family. I want to be at the beach. I want to do this stuff. Uh, I don't want to be consumed by the stock market, and it felt great. Even though I was losing money, if I wasn't losing money, it would have felt really great. I wish I could just pause the stock market, just pause it all
I
for
know.
2 months. Because
You
If
can
you
do that.
not.
Or
it always
you do a
happens
big
though.
index
This is what happens to me in the summer because I go on vacation. I think I've only been at my house like 5 days since May 19th, and it cost me a fortune because I'm not actively watching my portfolio the way I normally do.
Cost me a fortune too, Dave, but I don't want to be honestly, the way that I work, there are times where I just need a big, big break. And I this summer is one of those times I'm not as active as I have been in the markets with my research. Uh, I'm paying the price for it because honestly, if I would have spent more time focusing on this, I think I would have made these moves earlier.
Yeah,
But
me too.
wasn't it great, Dave, being out there not thinking about the market? I mean, how
It was
awesome
great.
was
It
it
was like,
out there?
did you even realize that it was a weekday? Because that's
No,
what my
I didn't
life
know
has
what day of
turned
the week
into.
it
I don't
was.
even know what day it is. It's just like, is it Tuesday? Should we be doing a show today? I don't know.
I had no idea until, I mean, the last half of my vacation was terrible with my kid getting stitches and injured, and then me injuring my back and not being able to walk for 2 3 days, but being on painkillers. But other than that, the first half of that vacation was just so great not to be thinking about YouTube, even not to be thinking about this show. I mean, guys, I know there are creators out there that just do this nonstop and they never take a break. I won't name names, but you know who they are. I don't know how they do it. I need my breaks from this world. I have to have them. Otherwise, my mind just doesn't work as well when I am diving in deep, spending 4 5 6 hours a day researching, social arb. I got to get these breaks. And summertime, my mind is just not there right now. So I would love to say that for the next few weeks, I'm not going to be as active. I'm going to pull down my leverage. I'm going to hope the world doesn't completely fall apart, but I also hope the market doesn't come rocketing back quite yet. what I am looking for right now to make this money back, I am looking for a plateau. We've said this before, except I didn't act on it last time. I'm looking for a plateau of the Delta variant. I want to see the Delta variant plateau globally. I want to have confidence that it's not going to just keep increasing and increasing. Because I'm looking at that. I like to start my day off by Googling UK COVID. Okay. And I
Mhm.
look at that little chart of just the case counts in the UK, because that was kind of one of the first places, major cities, where the Delta variant just kind of got in heavy and has been a real focus. And I want to see it start to plateau. And I really thought that was going to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. When that happens, not just there, but probably over here as well, I'm going to start to feel more comfortable to maybe start to lever back into some of these recovery trades. I don't know if I'll go back to 80, 85%, but I have to see that first. And so when I see that, I'll start to lever back in. Until then, I'm going to social arb trade, medium to high conviction, but I'm only going to do it right before information dissemination. I don't want to hold these trades very long. I want to hold them for short periods of time. I'll take the big bets on earnings, maybe a few days before earnings, because hedge funds tend to get data early and start to trade into it. But that's my strategy from now until the end of the summer. And as you know, we're working on some really big projects in the private world that we'll be discussing maybe on this channel, but also on our OG channel in the fall. Once Dave is done vacationing and we're all back in the fall, we might relaunch the OG channel and actually show some of the exciting things that we're doing, working with founders and other creators to build businesses that I hope, there might even be a way for our community to invest in this stuff if we can. I think we're partnering with that crowdfund platform. So there's lots of exciting stuff. If you haven't subscribed, not just to this channel, but to our OG channel, which is just Dumb Money, not Dumb Money Live, just YouTube/Dumb Money. Please subscribe to both and hit notifications, because at some point we'll restart that channel with us, and we have some really exciting stuff to talk about.
You can head to dumbmoney.tv to find all the places that you can follow us.
That's true.
And we are the worst
until then-
YouTubers because we do just go on vacation. YouTube says you have to be consistent in your upload, or else we're not going to show your videos to anyone.
Could you imagine someone mentioned Meet Kevin?
More than 1,000 people watching right now.
I think about Meet Kevin every once in a while. Not only is he still doing shows 24 hours a day, but he's running for
governor in California.
He's so insane. Could you imagine the stress?
But he loves it. I mean, you can tell that he genuinely is into everything that he's doing. I don't know how he does it. I didn't know how he did it before he was flying around on his jet to go to rallies in Sacramento and what? But it's awesome.
I don't know.
It's awesome. If I were in California, guess who I'd be voting for?
And we're probably gonna do we're talking to him about doing a little campaign thing together where we can help him out on his campaign. But okay, so that's it, guys. I wish I had more to tell you, but the reality is I'm just going to take down the risk and just wait. And I'm going to watch that Delta variant. Do you remember early on in the pandemic?
But you're not thinking that, I've seen several comments asking if we think a big crash is coming. You're not thinking there's a crash, or you would be going to zero margin and hedging, right? So you don't see that coming.
I've said, I think there are more questions and answers, and I don't have visibility into the macro market. And I don't like trading macro things. But when I know there's a lot of uncertainty happening in the macro market that could impact the trades I'm in, that is a red flag for a social arb trader. Because as your social arb trader, we're trading one piece of information. I'm trading Topo Chico. I'm trading the Rox energy drink, Zoa, for tap, right? But that gets screwed up if the Delta variant has an adverse impact on beer consumption at restaurants and bars, because various cities either do or under the threat of maybe pulling back how much they're able to serve in their restaurants, especially in Europe, where they're conservative about that stuff. And what's happening is a company like Molson Coors has to be conservative in terms of how much beer they even produce and store in inventory if they are unsure about the Delta variant. So that's why they're not able to raise guidance, because they can't really go in as hard and as deep and as aggressively as they'd like to, because there's a dark cloud that's hanging over the world. That, listen, LA just said face masks are mandated everywhere. What if LA says, hey, restaurants are 50%? What if the UK comes back in a month or 2 months and says, hey, we might have to like go back to like 50% capacity at restaurants, right? Or only outdoor seating. The perception value of that would crush the beer companies temporarily, right? So I need to make sure that any stock that I own is stock that I can hold through that period and not have to, sell because I'm getting margin called, right? I'm having to make those smart decisions right now. So that's where I am. I'm having to take the margin down, play conservative for a little bit until until I can at least see the numbers plateau. I know that dark cloud is kind of pushing out, and then we'll readdress some of these, levered recovery trades that I would like to be in heavier than I am right now.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Totally makes sense.
What am I doing? Oh, I'm glad you asked. So I'm actually trying to figure out what's going on with the interest rate environment, and I'm kind of interested in what's going on with some of these Biden spending initiatives that could end up going on. So I'm trying to dissect some of those. I've been watching some of the just sector levels that have been going up in the last few days, while everything that I own goes down. Interestingly, a lot of the utilities are going up, real estate. Some of the REITs are going up. So I'm trying to figure out, what does that mean? And do I need to be moving my portfolio around? I'm not moving anything yet, because I'm really just trying to wrap my head around what's going to be going on forward. And so I'm trying to disengage from the whole recovery play, because I think summer's over for the investing portion. And so I don't know if we've got any more recovery left until next summer, because we're just going to have kids going back to school. It's business as usual. I'm sure there'll be some recovery, but
there is a little bonus stimulus that people may have forgotten about.
The child tax credit, or the child credit.
Well, it used to be a tax credit, but they're now actually mailing $300 checks out to parents who have kids, I believe, under the age of 25.
Yep.
$300 a kid. And it goes down if you have higher income. But that could be a little extra stimulus, and that continues. They're mailing checks now, and it continues for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Well,
so kids, this is the perfect time to ask your parents for allowance.
Or to go to Cedar Fair.
Because the government, us taxpayers, are giving an allowance to your parents, so just ask them for it. You get $300 a month.
Jordan, do you think that this winter, what do you think is the likelihood of us getting additional variants and that causing even more chaos? It's a possibility, right? We have to be...
Totally. But the good news is that I think what I'm hoping happens, this is just my hope hat, is that this Delta variant will at least inspire some people to get vaccinated, because we know that these vaccines are effective against the Delta variant. Not to the extent that they were against the originals and even the UK variant, but just get the vaccine and it helps you. It turns out that your immune system's pretty creative and can protect itself from these variants if you get the vaccine ahead of time. And so that's what I'm hoping, that as we just continue this vaccine rollout, maybe it'll inspire people, and then it'll be protective against some of these newer variants. But I think, what I think we were hoping to see happen is that we start to see more travel open up between countries, and it kind of is, but that could be slowed down. And so I don't think you've seen any of that, but I'm still holding on to my Southwest Airlines, because I don't see domestic travel really shuttering anytime soon.
Based on what I saw at left field, I would agree with you on Southwest.
Yeah. Southwest and Spirit are probably will do okay, except that, again, there's just a perception trade here, right? There's a reality trade and a perception trade, and I think the Delta variant is still a negative perception on all airlines, and they get punished unequally.
They might, I think so, until you start to see. Look, and we saw all the airlines pop when Delta, came out with good earnings the other day. They've sunk since, but I think you get one or two more come out and say, hey, we're going strong right now, especially domestically. I think people that have vaccines aren't scared to fly, and I think people that don't have vaccines are probably misinformed, not scared to fly. So I
Yeah.
So
don't see
everyone's still going to fly.
I think it's mostly. I think most of your issues are going to be in Europe. So I don't think Americans are scared yet.
Yeah, they're not yet, but if they get more
Right.
scared, it could be a net negative for Southwest in terms of perception of the stock, whether it's real or not. And
Yeah.
that could create opportunities. I'm not in Southwest right now. I'm not in Spirit right now, but I would be open to getting back into Spirit and Southwest if the information changes, right? If it gets worse and then starts to plateau and I see it getting better.
I still am in Spirit. It's been going. I mean, I'm still positive, but it's been going down substantially from its high. And we see their earnings out there on the horizon. That little E. There's a possibility that their earnings could be good, and that might be a reason to stay in. But I don't know.
Oh man, my Airbnb options got crushed today.
Airbnb dropped 134. That's where it was when we talked about it about a month ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About flat
been
for
rough.
a month.
Been rough. Okay, guys, I'm just getting sick looking at my portfolio right now. This show. Listen, I want everyone to know full transparency. It is what it is. We want to do this show. We've been off for a couple weeks. We've been traveling, but it's hurt. We've gotten crushed here. The gains have been excessive the past few months, absolutely ridiculous the past few months, and a bunch of that has now come back and really bitten us. And I've lost a chunk of those gains, and I'm trying to protect the rest of those gains right now by making moves that I wish I would have made a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. So we're getting hurt today. That's our plan. We think we'll make it back, but we're going to have to be patient. I'm going to stick with social arb trades. By the way, there's some really good social arb trades. The next episodes we do, guys, will be pure social arb, combination of our own and some that are coming off the Discord channel. And also, guys, if you haven't signed up for our public account, remember, if you go to dumbmoney.tv/public, sign up for an account, the commissions we get paid by public for you signing up go right into the Dumb Money public account. We pay them right back, and it goes right back to you. And all the money you make trading our public account, it's a portfolio. You get to vote on it once a week in our Discord, and we make those trades for you. All the profits go to the community once a year. I don't know, throw a party. We'll figure that out later. But please sign up for public through Dumb Money, because we give all the money back to the community. Guys, I got to get my kids to camp. I got to get them packed here.
I just wanted to also note that your portfolio has been crushed more than mine, because I was not 80% margined. And my portfolio has been crushed more than Jordan, who's like in way more conservative investments. And so that's like important for everyone to think about. Like, think about your own situation. Chris has way more risk tolerance than I do. I have more risk tolerance than Jordan does. And so this is what happens when the markets are going up. Chris is killing it, making money, printing it, like free money out of the sky, like quadrupling your net worth in a month. Boom, it just happens. You are being killed today, and over the past week, I'm not even 10% from my all-time high, right?
Yeah. I'm 2% off my all-time high.
I am pretty far off from my all-time high, but the all-time high was just so stupid. It was ridiculous. It's still ridiculous where I am right now. But let's, making the smart moves, better to make them later than never.
Perfect.
So we'll see you back.
It's important to say. We will definitely be doing another show. It's Friday. We'll be doing a show sometime next week, I'm sure, probably early in the week, because I'm going on vacation again. And that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are Dumb Money. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend.